What is up, YouTube? All right, guys, real quick, this is just a thought video. One of those, I had a spur of the moment thought and I felt like I just needed to grab the camera and start talking. So I'm just gonna get right into it, all right? So I was in the gym today and I was thinking about stuff, thinking about how life is now, thinking about everything that's transpired in the last year, everything that's transpired in the last 5 years, and just thinking about how much my life has changed since I started doing this whole fitness thing. And I made a video like this, kind of like this when I started my channel, talking about my life before fitness, my life, growing up and stuff. I just kind of wanted to tell you guys how fitness changed my life and what it did for me. And hopefully some of you guys can relate to this and you feel like you might be on the same path. You might feel as if fitness saved you as well, because I'm pretty sure it did me. So I'm gonna get right into it. Growing up, I was never the attractive kid. I was never the athletic kid. I was never the popular kid. Basically, a lot of my childhood was spent, I was a very self-conscious guy. I was never the type that ever looked good with my shirt off. I never had muscles that I could flex. I never was just that, I just didn't seem to get the attention from girls that a lot of the other guys did. And that led to me being just very shy and very low confidence, low self-esteem. The way that I unwinded as a kid was I would just play video games. I know the majority of my childhood was me locked in my bedroom playing video games. And I was a very spoiled child in regards to getting the video games I wanted. So if I wanted a new video game, my mom, being the angel that she is, she would get me any video game I wanted. I remember at one point I had PlayStation, I had a GameCube, and I had an Xbox, all hooked up to a huge TV. So it was that was what I did. I just literally played video games and ate like crap. And as a kid, my acne was really bad. And I think it was a result of how terrible my diet was and the fact that I didn't go outside much. I remember spending an entire summer. I remember waking up at like 6 p.m. and then being up until like 9 to 10 a.m. and then falling asleep. Like, my sleep schedule was completely out of whack. And during this time, all I would do, I remember having a mini fridge in my room and I would have it filled with different types of soda. And I would just drink soda. I almost said pop, but I know some of you guys get all weird when I say pop, so I'm gonna say soda. I would have a fridge with all these different assortments of soda and I would just live on that stuff. And you're talking 40 grams or so of sugar a can. And I'm sitting there, no sunlight, playing video games, not getting any movement, just drinking cans of soda. And I looked really hard trying to find pictures of me from back before I ever got into fitness, and I cannot find any. The only ones I can find are when I was quote unquote skinny, because I would go through these periods where I would just crash diet after I would gain so much weight, and like I had no muscle and I was skinny fat. And those are the only pictures I can find of me before then, because that's how self-conscious I was. My body image was terrible. And I was riddled with acne. Like I said, all the soda, all the sugar, I think really caused me to break out a lot. And I still deal with acne to this day. Acne is something I think I'm gonna deal with my entire life. It's not near as bad as it ever was, but I do have pimples, and I have one right here right now. Should I call that out? I don't know. It's in the video. But acne is something I've always dealt with, and I noticed since I cleaned my diet up, it did get a lot better. But, so growing up, I never had the confidence or the courage to really do my own thing, and I've had dreams and I had stuff I wanted to do, but I think that just part of being uncomfortable with myself, the way I looked, just led to everything kind of spiraled out of control. My eating got worse because, emotional eating is huge, and you find solace in like the sugary stuff and the fattening stuff. That food it comforts you in a weird way. And I spent a good bit of my childhood just not knowing anything about nutrition, not knowing anything about exercise, and I did play sports. I played football. I was never any good at it. I was actually pretty terrible. Not that I don't think I could have been good. I was just more of a goof off, I never took anything seriously growing up, and including school, including a lot of different things. I never took anything seriously. Life was just, video games for me, and just finding that temporary indulgence. And as I got older, I remember like I discovered fitness and lifting weights and stuff. It was probably my junior year of high school. So we'd always go to the weight room for football season and stuff, and I ran track, but we always lifted for football. And like, I just kind of lifted because that was like practice, that's what we had to do, strength training with the team. And but I never really got into it. I would just kind of, a couple sets of bench press, some curls, but never really never really got a passion for it, you know? And my junior year of high school, I think, me and a bunch of my buddies got memberships to an actual gym and we started training. But that was also to another time when I was a kid. I didn't take it super serious, but I noticed that I was making progress in, you know, the couple months that I went. But I think like another thing a lot of people are guilty of, which I did, and I was really, really guilty of it, was I would lift until I reached a certain look. And then once I got there, I would just totally quit. And then, you know, I would rebound all the weight and a lot of times getting bigger. And, you know, so that was a lot of my high school fitness, was like lifting, getting to where I could take a couple pictures looking good, and then it would, you know, dial me back. And keep in mind, I'm 26 years old now, just turned. So this was, you know, this was 8 years ago. So I went through high school kind of like that, yo-yoing up and down with my weight, with my health. And, you know, when I graduated high school, I went off to college. And that's when things really got bad for me health-wise. Because at least in high school, yeah, I was playing video games a lot. And I remember, you know, being extremely sedentary, but at least I had these little sports here and there that would keep me active and keep me moving, at least, you know, part of the time. But once college hit, man, that was when the real reality check happened, because, you know, you were for the first time in your life completely in charge of everything you eat and everything you do. So my mom, once again, being the angel that she is, got me an apartment in a different city, and I was going to college, and I really didn't have much of anything to do other than go to school. So this in turn led to me, when I first moved there, I didn't know anybody. So what do you do when you don't know anybody? Nothing. You sit and you play video games and you eat, and that's all I did. Literally, I would go to school. At this time, my self-esteem was still pretty low because I'd put on some weight. And for those of you who know, I wear hats all the time, right? I got a hat on right now. And it's still a big thing for me. But man, this was my freshman year of college, and I was noticing I was losing my hair, like I was going bald. So not only had I dealt with these acne problems my entire life and body image issues my entire life, I was now in college, supposed to be the prime of my life, and I was losing my hair. I was going bald. So that was no fun either. And everything just started like spiraling out of control. You know, I got depressed, and I just, you know, I turned to alcohol to fix that problem. And I got to where I was drinking like every single night. I remember it being like, you know, what do you guys want to do tonight? And we would just drink. And then the next morning I'd wake up, I'd be hungover, I'd feel terrible. And so I would eat bad food to comfort myself. I'd lay around all day. And then that night, once the hangover finally started to wear off, I would start drinking again. And, you know, the alcohol problem definitely spiraled out of control. And I was getting no physical fitness in whatsoever. And my entire like life, just, you know, I was dealing with anxiety problems. I was dealing with so many issues that I think were all just a direct result of me eating bad, not getting any movement, and just all in all, just being a very unhealthy individual. This, and I see how easy it spirals out of control for people, because I've been there, you know? And like I said, there's no pictures of me from this time, but you know, I weigh 175 roughly right now, right? Pretty lean, and that's kind of where I stay at. And I know that around this time, with no muscle mass, I was over 200 pounds. And that's another thing, I didn't weigh myself ever, because I think sometimes for people, it's easier to just ignore the problem. If I weighed myself, that's acknowledging the problem because I'm seeing it. But if I ignore the problem, you know, the brain is one heck of a tool. It'll make up any reason and any excuse for you to continue bad behavior, or for you to justify some of the things you do. You need to keep track of this guy. And that's one thing I think that's helped me a lot recently, is that I have learned this guy doesn't always have your best interest at heart. That little voice whispered in your ear wants you to go get that pizza, and it wants you to get, you know, and it wants you to drink that drink of alcohol. And, you know, not saying that alcohol is bad by any means. I just know that I have a problem with alcohol, so I just choose not to drink, because when I drink, I make terrible decisions and I do not know my limits. So to recap, I'm in college, I'm in the worst shape of my life, I'm drinking, you could probably consider me an alcoholic at this point. And, you know, I'm probably about 20 years old roughly here. And so college, as you could probably guess, didn't end up working out for me. Moved back home for a little bit, and didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. You know, I'm not in college. I got a job at a gas station. Yeah, you heard that right. I just, you know, had no direction. Was still eating bad. Was still just life was just kind of. I had no drive, no motivation. I had nothing pointing me in any one direction. I had no aspirations, no dreams. I had no idea what I wanted to do. And you know, I think this might be typical of someone that's possibly, you know, around my age at that time. So when I was like 20. I don't think it's always easy to know what you're going to do with the rest of your life. It's not always easy to. You know, everybody I know my family wanted me to be a male nurse. Well, in retrospect, that is not me. You know, I mean, maybe if a nurse could just like talk to people and smile at them and try to make them feel better, yeah, but man, you give me some blood, or if I gotta clean up feces or something, no, we're not doing that. But you know, and I think it's easy when you have these expectations set of you, you know, that you need to go straight off to college, or you need to know what career you need to go invest, you know, the rest of your life in, you know, and they expect you to make these decisions when you have almost no life experience. And I was so sheltered growing up because I, you know, like I said, I played so many video games and I just locked myself in my room, didn't really have the social experiences I should have had. You know, so I was at this point, like, I had no idea what life even was or what life was even about. I remember working at that gas station. It was one of my first, like, real jobs out on my own. You learned a lot about society. You learned a lot about the different types of people and, like, you know, the different socioeconomic statuses of people and stuff like that. You know, I'm not trying to say anybody's up here and other people are down here. I'm just saying that the world is structured in such a way that if you have been sheltered your whole life, you don't know. You know, you don't know. Like up to this point, I thought everybody was good people. And then you find out, you know, it's because I moved to a different city, right? Another time I moved to a new city at this point where I'm working at this gas station where I didn't know anybody. So you meet people and you always want to think that people have the best intentions for you in their heart. And in reality, they don't. Because I remember meeting a friend and we hung out and I thought we were really close. I go to work one day, I come home, someone broke into my apartment and stole my Xbox, stole clothes, stole money I had, stole a cell phone. Like, you know, that's the worst feeling in the world, coming home and seeing that someone has been in your space. That is just the worst. So, you know, without these life experiences, you don't always know that, like, people are good and people are bad. And that's the whole thing. And there's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now, you know, and everybody's pointing fingers at everybody, and there's all these things going on. I'm not going to get into detail because I don't personally think that I'm not picking, like, it's just all ridiculous. It's all ridiculous. There's good people, there's bad people. That's it. That is it. So, you know, depending on where you fall on that spectrum, you're either good or you're bad. That, you know, regardless of whatever, you can be rainbow colored for all I care. There's good people and there's bad people. And that is something that I think the younger generations are realizing as we grow up, and you know, some other people are having a hard time accepting that. But anyways, didn't mean to derail this whatsoever. So I'm working at this gas station, right? And one day a guy comes in and he says he liked the way I presented myself, the way I talked or whatever. And he asked me if I wanted a job selling cell phones. I said, well, heck, why not? So I went and I interviewed, killed the interview, got hired there and started making more money, got a girlfriend that I was with for quite a long time. You know, there for a while I was still struggling with my alcohol problem. I was still drinking a lot, not as much, but I was drinking a lot. You know, wasn't hitting the gym, was still fairly unhealthy, still eating bad. And during this time I had kind of stepped away from video games for a little bit. Leading up to this point, you know, when I think anytime you're in a serious relationship, it's easy to kind of let some of your favorite hobbies fall to the wayside. And you know, and part of it I think mentally was I told myself I was too mature now for gaming, which is another thing. Like, I try now to play because, you know, I don't have all the time in the world, but man, it makes me feel like a kid again, so I play. And then during this time, while I'm in this relationship, I started playing an MMORPG. For those of you that don't know what that is a massive multiplayer online game. So think of it in terms of like World of Warcraft. So the one I played particularly was called Star Wars: The Old Republic. But in a nutshell, like, I got so addicted to this game. This is probably the lowest point in my life. I was so addicted to this game. I literally woke up every morning, hopped on the computer, would run to work, bring my computer with me against every policy there, play while I was at work, come home, hop right on. Completely neglected my girlfriend at the time. Absolutely. I'm surprised she stuck it out with me as long as she did. If you're watching this, I apologize. I know that was a rough patch, but that's literally all I did. And you know, the only food I ate, I remember, like, I was just drinking pop like crazy and I was ordering carry out. You could look in my fridge and there was literally just bottles of water in there. That's all I had. And the water I wasn't even really drinking. Bottles of water and pop, essentially. And she eventually left me towards the end of this, you know, video game addiction thing. And so she's gone, and all I have left is this game. And I sat down to play, and I just couldn't bring myself to play that day. And this went on for a year and a half. I was addicted to this game. Think about that. That's a lot of time to be addicted to a video game. And I'm not talking. I never went a day without playing. And I remember sitting down one day, and I just couldn't bring myself to play, you know. And I looked around at everything I had, and I didn't have anything. You know, Didn't have any friends. All my friends were online in this game. I didn't have a girlfriend. I just wasn't happy. And so I remember it was it 2012? I want to say it was 2012, and it was February 1st. My brother had texted me that day, and he had just started going back to the gym, and he asked if I wanted to go with him. I'm like, you know what? Life's been really crappy. Why not go to the gym? Let's get me out of the house. I just got out of a really long relationship. Didn't end the best, and let's see. Let's see what happens. So I went to the gym. I remember that first day in the gym, how growing up, I always prided myself on being, the big brother to my brother, right? I always wanted to have, and when you have that, you always want to have the bigger muscles. You always want to be, you're just the big brother. You want to be the dominant one. And from where I had played that game for a year and a half and hadn't lifted or done anything, I was nothing but fat and absolutely no muscle at all. That was the first time I think my brother's been able to outlift me, which is crazy. So that kind of inspired something in me, and like out of nowhere, I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of being unhealthy, and what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to try my hardest to see if I can't get in good shape, because why not? What do I have to lose, right? So I started with the help of some friends in the gym. Shout out Weston, shout out Steven Miller. When I first started, they were bodybuilders. These guys were in incredible shape, and I knew them from high school, and they kind of took me under their wing and taught me how to work out, basically. So they gave me, workout routine, taught me what to do, and so I religiously followed these routines. And this was back when I didn't know anything about macros, didn't know anything really about diet whatsoever. The only thing I knew was I needed to eat chicken and rice every day, and I needed to eat broccoli every day. That's all I knew. So I switched my diet up, and I remember I'd been going to the gym for about a month and a half, and I'd lost somewhere within like 15 to 20 pounds. For those of you that, when you first started going to the gym, you'll know what I'm talking about, but they like to call them newbie gains. But if you've been sedentary for a while and haven't worked out, you can notice massive progress in your first 30, 60, 90 days of lifting, where it's almost like you can completely transform as long as you put the work in. And I was putting the work in, and I just noticed it was like overnight, I started, shoulder muscles, bicep muscles. I had like kind of abs starting, and from that point on, I was absolutely hooked, So I remember going out to the bar, and like for the first time, it felt like I was able to go out and I got attention from girls. Because I lifted, and I think that, that sounds like it's for the wrong reasons, but getting attention like that after my whole life, never really getting attention like that, it felt good, and that feeling in and of itself is addicting. Anybody that says when someone pays you a compliment for your hard work that it doesn't, give you a little self-esteem boost is lying to you, because it totally does. And, I kind of got addicted to that, like going out and meeting people and like, trying to meet girls, because I didn't really have that experience in high school. I was, like I said, I was dealing with acne, and I was overweight, and I was unhealthy, and for the most part, I was locked in my bedroom. So I got addicted to that, that going out and meeting people. And then that also turned into, the beginning of my fitness. I was drinking 2 to 3 nights a week. And I'm not just talking like a few drinks. I'm talking going out, getting absolutely hammered, and not remembering the next day, and just being overall being an idiot. So, and at this point, I'm probably 22 years old. I want to say, because I'm 26 now, I started my fitness journey that I'm still on at 22 years old. And I did the whole, workout, drink alcohol, go out, try to meet girls thing. I did that for probably my first year and a half in fitness. I lifted, and I would try to eat clean and do good all week, but then I would totally destroy myself on the weekends, because I would drink, and then in turn that rabbit hole leads to bad food, bad decisions. And I remember it was almost like I would look really good like Friday up until I started drinking, and then I wouldn't recover from that alcohol and bad food binge until like the next Wednesday. And so I'd have like 2 days a week where I actually felt good and looked good. And that just, that lifestyle got old after a while, What eventually ended up happening was I was at a party, I was really drunk, and someone told me that they were going to be bigger than me in a year, right? And I'm wasted at this point. And he's kind of like arguing with me about it, I don't really remember. All I know is that I was blackout drunk, and I ended up getting into a fight with this guy. Yeah, a fight, a freaking fight. And I woke up that next morning, and just feeling bad about it, like what did I do, I even bought the guy a thing of, was it pre-workout? I bought him pre-workout or brand meat. I bought him something, right? And it's like a sorry gift, and I told myself from that day on, I'm like, you know what, this fitness stuff's fun, working out's fun, But this whole other side of it where you're only seeking attention from people and you want to go out and you want to drink and like you're not really practicing what you preach. You preach healthy lifestyle all the time and you preach fitness on your social media, how you're killing it in the gym, quote unquote, and yet you're going out drinking far too much alcohol, you're smoking cigarettes the entire time, and you're just, and I remember meeting people out that didn't know me other than from social media, and they'd come up and they'd go, "You're smoking a cigarette? You're drinking?" They were just amazed by it because of how I always posted pictures of my meal preps and stuff. And I decided after that night, that I was done with alcohol. Completely done. And I was gonna set my mind on other things. There's better ways to spend my time, I thought, than being drunk and hungover. So that was a year and a half ago about. So I haven't touched alcohol in a year and a half. And since I quit, my life has been 100 times better. If I look at some of the accomplishments I've made since I quit alcohol, I got certified for personal training, which was awesome. I started my own business, an online training business, which is actually extremely successful now, which is awesome. So I'm able to do this full time. So God bless all of you guys that have supported me and have let me train you and help you with nutrition plans, stuff like that. You guys rock. I've also been able to start an apparel brand, which is another thing that's crazy I never thought I would do. And what a clear mind taught me and refocusing my priorities taught me about life in general was that you can have anything you want as long as you're willing to prioritize it and work for it, and there might be a time down the road when I can enjoy some alcohol, but not until I've reached almost every one of my goals. And I think that that's the thing about goal setting. Like my first goal was, let's become a certified personal trainer. Boom, I did that. So the next thing you know, my brain's onto the next goal. It's like, okay, so what's that? Let's start, an online training business. Boom. And then what's my next step beyond that? Well, you know what? I'm not getting as many clients as I'd like. Let's start a YouTube channel and see if we can not only help people, but reach more people and see if more people, get more people familiar with who I am. So I did that. Boom. And I think as of right now, we're at 9,300 subscribers today. First video was filmed in January, by the way. So it's a grind. Let me tell you, it's a grind, but it pays off. YouTube starts really getting successful for me. And I'm like, people bugging me like, man, you need shirts, you need hats. I'm like, well, heck, I can probably do that. So boom, my next goal, apparel line. Here we go. So, life is about setting goals and achieving those goals. And it's crazy because a good portion of my life I spent, self-conscious about myself, the way I looked, about my acne, about the fact that I was going bald at the age of 18, about a million different things. And now in my life, I am at a point where and the crazy thing is how your priorities shift, right? So now that I'm where I'm at, right? I don't want to say this any type of way to make you feel any type of way, but I probably don't have a hard time getting girls right now, but that's not even in my spectrum right now. I mean, I have a girlfriend right now, yeah, but going out and chasing women and doing all that, that is absolutely not what I'm about anymore. And it's crazy how just a little bit of a mindset shift and reprioritizing things in your life can have a cascading effect throughout everything you have going on. And I just never ever in a million years would have envisioned that my life would be where it's at today. Because now I went from having no confidence to now I'm probably one of the most confident people you ever meet. I went from never smiling. If you looked at old pictures of me, I always frowned. And now I probably smile too much. And I get those comments on my videos. That is the fakest smile I've ever seen, or this guy smiles too much. Well, so what? I love to smile, and I'm gonna smile until my freaking jaw breaks because this is who I am now. I'm a happy guy, and it's taken me a while to reach this point, but I'm officially able to say that I am, for once in my life, happy. Truly, truly happy. Beyond blessed. And this all started with fitness. If it wasn't for trying to get my body back and trying to take control of my health, I never would have learned the discipline, I never would have learned the mindset, and I wouldn't be anywhere near where I'm at now. Like I said, I was depressed, I'm not anymore. I had anxiety problems, I don't have those anymore. Acne, not as bad as it was because I've been able to fix my diet. I still deal with it though. Unfortunately, getting into fitness didn't make my hair grow back, but hey, you win some, you lose some, right? So I don't know, hopefully you guys get something out of this video, and I just want you guys to realize that you don't need to be in any type of shape to start working out. You don't need to be any type of age, you're never too old. And taking control of your health there's never a bad time to start. Anytime you start can be a good time. You are literally one thought, one action, one lifestyle change away from having a completely different life. And I'm telling you, my entire everything has done a complete 180 since I started focusing on my health, my nutrition, getting that movement in, and just being overall just a better, happier person, you know? And I think that change is possible in everybody. And that's one of the things, like we have all these onset of diseases, the onset of mental health conditions and all this stuff. And I think a lot of it comes down to, one, we're feeding ourselves with junk more often than not. And two, we're not moving at all. We're literally just sitting all day and not getting any type of exercise. And you know, if you can combine the two, the nutrition and the working out, it can make a huge difference in every aspect of your life, you know? And I'm just not even preaching that. I'm just not even saying that as trainer Rem. I'm just saying that because I legitimately think that it beats any other form of medicine. Like, why take a pill for your depression when you can go get natural feel-good hormones pumped into your body by just working out or going for a jog or getting some movement in? If for any of you that suffer from anxiety or depression, you know, I've been through both. I'm not gonna say that was on the crazy spectrum of it. Some people have it way worse than me, and I understand. Some people have clinical problems that aren't gonna be solved by exercise. But what issues I did have, exercise completely changed and eliminated. So, you know, I haven't dealt with anxiety now for quite a long time. I haven't dealt with depression now for quite a long time. I just wanted to give you guys, you know, a look and an idea that, you know, I wasn't always this athletic guy. Not that I'm an athletic guy now, but, you know, I wasn't always this like fitness guy that, you know, it's not like I woke up with parents that like ate, slept, breathed, eat, slept, and breathed fitness and taught me what to do. No, everything I learned, I was self-taught. And I, you know, had people around me, strong people that showed me, you know, kind of put me on the right path, so to say. I went from being miserable and out of shape to extremely happy and blessed. And it all started when I focused on my health, my happiness over everything else. I think this video might run a little long, guys. What's with these long videos lately, man? I'm just killing them. So hopefully you get something out of this. I just wanted some of you guys, you know, I have a normal content release schedule that I have. This was just a spur of the moment. Let's shoot a video, have an idea, have a thought, let's get it done type of thing. Like I said, I just hope some of you guys get some value out of this. I don't ever release anything that I don't think people are gonna get something out of. And I just wanted you guys to know that, like, you know, yeah, I'm all smiles now, and for the most part, I'm always in pretty good shape unless I have a week of almond butter binging. But, you know, I was not always like this, ever. And I think that's part of the reason why I appreciate it so much more now, was because I never, ever had this, ever. So I'm literally in the best shape of my life at 26 years old. And I plan on being in the best shape of my life at 30. I plan on being in the best shape of my life at 35, so on and so forth. So I want you guys to know it's never too late to start. You know, you just need a little bit of direction. You need a little bit of guidance sometimes, but starting from nothing is way better than waiting until everything's perfect and starting. So like I said, with what you got, if you don't have access to a gym, start doing push-ups at home. If you don't have the money to really eat clean all the time, then just start making better choices. Cut out the sodas, drink water, stuff like that. There's no better time to start than right now with what you got. Anyways, you guys have a great day. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Leave me a like, leave me a comment, let me know what you think. I appreciate you guys. Hopefully some of you could relate to this. And once again, thank you for all the support, and shout out to everybody that's ordered something from rjfitapparel.com. You guys rock. I'm shipping your packages ASAP. Some of you should be getting them already, actually. Once again, thank you guys for everything. You guys have blessed me beyond belief. I can't even put into words how blessed I truly am to have the support of all of you guys. I will see you guys later. Take her easy.